Alright. So, this is well, not really so much a response video to Staff Sergeant PA's live stream tonight, as it more or less is a little bit more of a semi-detailed explanation of what actually happened during the Ruby Ridge siege in 1992. Staff Sergeant PA briefly kind of brought it up, but as I understand it, Randy Weever, I think at the time was struggling financially, having a hard time trying to make ends meet, and I don't remember if he went to some sort of militia gathering or if he went to a gun show or something like that, but a man had approached him about doing some gunsmithing work to his shotguns. Unbeknownst to Randy Weever, this man that had approached him was actually an undercover ATF agent. He wanted him to cut the barrels down to these shotguns so that they would fit in this gun case, and told that Randy, he'd pay him really well for his services if he'd do that for him. And Randy did exactly what he was asked to, cut it down to the specifications the guy was asking, and so they fit in those gun cases. Well, after he got done doing the work to these guns, he brought them back, and of course later on the guy ended up calling an ATF raid on Randy Weever and his family over in his cabin up there in Ruby Ridge, Idaho, because you gotta keep in mind these three-lettered alphabet agencies like the ATF are full of nothing but a bunch of fucking crooks and scumbags. And they gotta do this shit so that way they can make themselves appear relevant, so that way they can continue to keep getting black budget funding for their operations. So that's what they did. They framed him. He ended up cutting, I think they cut the barrels down a half inch too short, past 18 inches. So they ended up trying to do like a kind of a sort of like a night raid on him. I just remember he had fortified himself in his house, and the ATF agents came in one night, and he had some dogs. His I think it was either 13 or 14-year-old son was out there along with his neighbor, and they heard the dogs barking, going after something. The son went to go chase after the dogs. The dogs got shot by these agents that were trying to do like a kind of clandestine night raid on Randy Weever's place. The son, I guess as I understand from the neighbor's point of view, the son had shot in defense of the dogs getting shot, and the ATF agents ended up shooting the kid. I believe his name was Sammy Weever, and they shot the neighbor that went down, was with the kid. Now the neighbor, I guess from what I understand, he survived his gunshot wound, but the 14-year-old kid died immediately. And like I said, the siege kind of went on. He, like I said, him and his family, they were fortified in their house for, I want to say, at least a good week, maybe 10 days or so. And then, like I said, the FBI decided to send out this sniper to go and attempt to basically kill Randy Weever. Again, things went completely sideways, and as I understand, the sniper was a scumbag, and he was also partly responsible for some of the, later be responsible for some of the deaths of the Branch Davidians in the Waco, Texas siege that would take place 9 months later. But this guy, I guess he had like a positive ID on Randy Weever. He'd fired a shot, missed, and he ended up striking Randy Weaver's wife as she was carrying their infant child. She was standing in the doorway of the cabin, and I think it was like she got shot through like the cheekbone or something like that, and she died instantly. And I think Randy Weever got wounded, like he got shot in the shoulder, but lived. I think the ATF and FBI finally came about to try to make negotiations with him one last time, and he finally told him, that they killed his son, they killed his wife. Now, out of the whole ordeal, I think, like I said, I know he served some prison time. I don't remember how much time it was. I don't think it was a whole lot. Mostly because, courts figured out, the FBI, both the ATF and the FBI screwed up, like, royally on this whole issue. And, what he ended up getting out of the whole thing, him and his family, he ended up getting charged as charged as a felon. So legally speaking, he's not ever allowed to own a firearm ever again, because he, like I said, unknowingly cut down some barrels to some shotguns that he was ended up being set up by this agent, undercover agent. Cut down some barrels of these shotguns to less than 18 inches in overall length. So he'd been charged with that, and I guess, like I said, they got charged with assault and battery on some federal agents and police officers with a deadly weapon. And, like I said, I think they were light with the punishment just because of the fact that his wife and son got killed. And throughout the whole thing, because, like I said, all that shit that unfolded, he ended up getting like a $3 million court settlement for the whole thing, which to me is an insult. It's bullshit, but it is what it is, But right there, that's just the reason. Another reason not to trust the federal government. Another reason not to trust any of these alphabet agencies that try to make themselves appear relevant or appear important. All they're trying to do is get your hard-earned tax dollars so they can fund their black budget clandestine operations and do harmful shit to people, set innocent people up. They took advantage of a guy that was, from what I understand, was financially struggling to get him to do something that, like I said, unbeknownst to him, was illegal. But, that's pretty much the Randy Weever case, the Ruby Ridge standoff, in a nutshell. Like I said, I'm certain that I probably got some of the details either confused or might have messed a few of the details up. I'll see about posting some links to where I found this information. Like I said, I read on this probably about 2, maybe 3 years ago. So, alright. I'm Diorce, and I'm out. You guys have yourselves a good one. Bye-bye.